take number 4, but I will always do it for you. I'll take how many takes it takes to get it done. All right, so we're back in the garage. Well, last time we were doing how we experience a full day and night cycle, but now we're going to be talking about the phases of the moon. So again, we have our friend, the lovely lamp, who's going to represent and model as our sun. We have this styrofoam ball, which is going to be our moon. The head, or cabeza in Spanish, you're welcome, is going to be the earth, and our eyes are going to be a person on earth and what you're seeing. You do have a styrofoam ball in your kit, so you can do this at home. I will explain how to do it after this video of representation, and until then, stay tuned for the phases of the moon. So let's begin. All right, so now we are at a new moon. And the reason it is a new moon, because it is completely dark. There is no light being reflected on the side of the moon that we are seeing. If you were on the other side of the world, you would be seeing a full moon because all of the light is reflecting onto the moon's surface. But we're going to get there. So the moon orbits, and as it orbits, you will start to see a sliver of the moon will start to have some sunlight reflecting on it. And this is a crescent moon, but we need to be more specific. When light is slowly starting to shine more and more on the surface, as the light is getting larger, we say it is in the waxing stages. So this is a waxing crescent moon. So as the moon orbits, is orbiting, you can see more sunlight is reflecting onto the surface of the moon. And now we're at about half of the moon, this part of the moon that we were seeing has sunlight reflecting on it. So the moon is in its first quarter stage. So again, the moon continues to orbit, and more sunlight is reflecting onto the surface of the moon. And now about 3/4 of the moon is lit up by the sun, and now we were saying it is in the waxing gibbous phase. Remember, waxing means it is getting larger. So we're in the waxing, and then we get to the full moon when all the sunlight is being reflected onto the surface of the moon. We're in the full moon cycle, and if you're on the other side, you'd be having a new moon because no sunlight is being reflected on the side that they are seeing. So again, the moon is continuing to orbit. Don't mind my shadow, but now we can see that there's a shadow starting to creep onto the face of the moon that we are seeing, and we are back into the gibbous phase because about 3/4 of the moon is lit up, but the shadows are gradually going to get larger. So we are no longer waxing, we are in the waning gibbous phase of the moon phases. And as the moon continues to orbit, we are back at the 3rd quarter phase of the moon. And as the moon slowly orbits, you can see the shadow is getting larger on the face of the moon. We see less and less sunlight as we continue to orbit around, and the moon is orbiting. We are back to that little sliver of light, but it's no longer a waxing crescent. We are in the waning crescent, right? Because waning means getting smaller. And now we have our new moon. All right, so remember, as the sunlight and we start to seeing more and more light start to creep on, it is waxing. And as we go from a full moon all the way to a new moon, as the shadow gets larger, it is waning. Now it takes about 28.5 days to complete a full moon cycle, and that's because, as you can see, right, it takes a while for all the light from the sun to reflect onto the moon. So we are slowly going through it. So we start to see a little bit more and more of the sunlight, but it takes a while just to get to a full moon. So that's why it takes about 28.5 days to complete a full moon cycle. So if you're panning to my face, camera wife, so you have a styrofoam ball in your science kit, and all you need for this activity is a dark room or a garage, and you need a light source. We're using a lamp because it really does a good job of emanating light. And you will need to put your styrofoam ball onto, I have it on the tip of a pen, and so I just carefully kind of stuck the ball onto the pen. And all you have to do is be close to your light source, and you can slowly rotate your body in order to mimic the rotation or the orbiting of the moon. And so you'll be able to experience all of the moon phases. So which way? We have to turn from right to left to right. You're going to have to figure out which way you have to turn your body so you can go from new moon waxing crescent, all the way back to the waning phase. Alright? So this is how we do it. These are the phases of the moon. We're going to continue this discussion in class. Remember, fourth time is the charm. Not the first time, not the second time. Sure isn't the third time is the charm. It is the fourth time is the charm. You guys are the best. Let's talk about it.